If you haven't checked out LinkedIn yet, you need to, and today's the day to get started. Whether you're an employee, employer, or student, this networking site is full of tools for you. You can use it to find a new job, market your business, or connect with the right people for prospecting. The possibilities are endless. Joining us today is Wayne Breitbarth on making the most of this powerful website. He is the author of the #1 bestseller on this subject, The Power Formula for LinkedIn Success, and recently released the second edition with many updates. Welcome, Wayne.
Hey, Jim, it's great to be back with you.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you back. I know so much has changed, and it's like a lot of things. As soon as you feel as though you got something mastered, they do something new. And when it comes to technology and LinkedIn, what we're going to be talking about today, nothing's different there. Constantly changes happening that make it better. And also, if you just kind of lull into the way you've always done things, you might get left behind with some of the new opportunities. Is that true?
It's true. There's one thing about this site. It gets better and better, but it gets tougher and tougher to navigate on your own. You know, it's not really intuitive. And so that's frustrating for people. Believe me, I hear it all the time.
And I think a lot of listeners are going to relate to our program today because I know you've been known around the industry as kind of the LinkedIn guru. You're maybe a couple years on me, and I'm of the generation that hates technology. I've mastered turning a computer on. I've mastered turning it off. I use the sledgehammer until the blinking lights stop, but I haven't figured out how to turn it on again. I know you're my generation, and you're my hero in one sense, and I'm also very envious because being of my generation and being as savvy as you are about LinkedIn is kind of amazing. How did you get so knowledgeable about this gosh darn subject?
It was sort of out of necessity. I owned an office furniture dealership about 6 years ago when I was introduced to LinkedIn, and our business just stunk. It was 2008. If you just think about the recession at that time, and nobody was buying furniture or cubicles or desks or chairs, and it was terrible. And we had dropped 50% our sales from the previous year, and it was at that time that I was searching for something to help our business that we weren't doing already, right? My partner was out of ideas, and we were sort of out of ideas, and I was blessed to have a friend of mine be very diligent in bothering me to have a LinkedIn profile. But I was very diligent in pushing back and saying, this is stupid. I don't want anything to do with this. Have a nice life. And then what happened was I finally tried it and saw the power, and I said, oh my gosh, this could help our business. One thing leads to another. It did start to help the business, and then I started teaching all over town about LinkedIn and seeing that there was a real hunger for the knowledge. But the funny thing was, Jim, business wouldn't have been so bad. I doubt I would have done it. You know, it's one of those things.
And that's a great lesson for everybody where you can teach an old dog new tricks. I'm one of the old dogs, and I know LinkedIn has been working for me. And for me to get kind of involved in it, I know I've read your book, the first book that you came out with, and I decided I wanted to start a LinkedIn strategy, but that's all I did. I decided, but I didn't really do anything about it. And it was because of getting laid up due to an injury that I'm sitting at home going stir crazy. I decided, you know what, I'm going to tackle this. And I started getting involved in LinkedIn, and I've seen the results. We're talking as business owners right now, but LinkedIn really has things for everybody. It's not just about business. Is that true?
Boy, that is really true. I mean, LinkedIn started as a site for job seekers, actually. The first people were job seekers and sort of headhunters and HR people, and a place for them to sort of get together online. And it's still great for that. It's still a great tool if you're looking for work or if you're looking for workers. But what's happened is because of the raw mass of the number of people, 332 million people, 1 million new people join LinkedIn every week. Because of that, what it's become, Jim, is just simply the largest database of business professionals we ever had, and we can access these people and look at profiles and strategize on the right people that we want to meet for whatever. And that's the beauty of this thing. So it boils down to this. Should you be on LinkedIn? The question I follow up with is, do you need to meet some more people that are in business to try to accomplish your goals at a higher level or take your business to the next level? And if you say yes, then LinkedIn's probably your tool. It's really just a people-finding machine.
What is your top piece of advice for people to find success on LinkedIn?
My top piece of advice is, number one, to begin to have a strategy and a purpose, okay? So that the broad overarching reason you should be on the site is because you've decided it can help you do something. Like I did, and like you finally did, you said, I think this could help me do X. And sure enough, you finally pushed yourself and did it. So have a strategy or a purpose. But down to the detail of what that looks like, Jim, is number one, you've really got to build out your profile well. And what that means, the word well means is it has to be written in such a way that it doesn't just look like a resume, just a bunch of facts and dates. It really has to be written so that if I landed on your profile, I clearly understand what it is you're trying to accomplish. And then secondly, to make sure that you have an appropriate number of keywords that people are going to search and find you by and in the right spots. Because like any other database online, keywords are everything. So the strategy on LinkedIn is start with a great profile that tells your story and is loaded with keywords. But then the second step is to make the right connections and to make enough of them. What I find on that strategy alone, Jim, is people either one way or the other. They're connecting with everybody because they don't know who they shouldn't or should not, or they're on the other end of the spectrum where they only connect with people that are their best buddy. And probably the answer for most of us lies in between. And it boils down to this. Yes, we have people you already know and love and care about, people that we trust. Those people should be in your LinkedIn network for sure because you do trust them and they're good friends and they are your network already, your regular network. But then the next step should be who do you want to meet more of? Where do they work? What companies do they work at? What towns do they live in? What are their expertise? All those kinds of criteria that are listed on people's profiles. And then move forward with the LinkedIn connection strategy. And between those two things, everything else that we do on LinkedIn, whether it's groups or sharing updates and all that stuff, ties into one of those two things. Either it's about our profile being really super or it's about connecting and helping people you're connected to.
So what are some of the benefits you've seen people gain by spending this time on LinkedIn and having a strategy like you just talked about?
Let's talk about a couple of the different audiences that have gotten great benefit out of LinkedIn. When it comes to job seekers and or employers looking for people, I have seen so many people land employment, and I personally have helped so many employers use LinkedIn as a recruiting tool because it's just a great database, right? And I have personally found the controller that I replaced myself with at the Office Furniture Dealership. I found an interior designer who we needed to hire right on LinkedIn, and we used LinkedIn to hire her. And that's one constituency, is people looking and people who are looking for employees. When it comes to growing your business, the specifics are that if you find your audience on LinkedIn, you'll be amazed how there's a good chance that somebody you know knows somebody at the organization that you're trying to get into for whatever reason. And that's what LinkedIn does. The specifics of that is when you search on LinkedIn, and let's say I did a search and I find out you know such and such from this company, I mean, you and I could have known each other as best friends, but never do I sit down and go, tell me everybody you know, Jim, so just in case I need to meet them. Well, LinkedIn opened a window to your network to say, hey, you've been trying to get into this company for the longest time. Jim knows the president. And I have a nonprofit that I'm involved in that we were trying to get a grant down in Racine. And we were getting no every year from this foundation. And then all of a sudden we searched on LinkedIn and we found the executive director. And sure enough, the executive director knew a friend of mine. I called my friend. I said, do you really know this executive director? And she said, Wayne, I not only know her, she was my roommate in college. And one thing leads to another. She hooks me up with her. We have a great phone call. And now we're getting a nice grant every year, actually twice our original amount from this foundation to help us do good work in the community. So those are like three things, job seekers, nonprofits, and business owners. But it all just sort of boils back to finding out who people know because of the database.
So what are some of the mistakes, Wayne, that people make using LinkedIn?
I'd say the very common and most often mistake that I see is that their profile looks like a resume. It's an understandable mistake because the boxes on LinkedIn sort of look like that, right? They look like they're resume-type things, and so people then just put things on their profile with only that amount of detail. And that's a problem because there's so much more room. So first mistake, your profile looks like a resume. Second mistake is not knowing who you should connect with, which boils back to strategy again, right? If you only have 25 or 35 connections on LinkedIn, the site is probably not going to work that well for you because it's really about relationships and having not just lots of relationships in total, like there's not a prize for that, but having relationships in the right places. So mistakes are bad profiles that only look like resumes and then really not understanding who your connection strategy is.
I got to just share personal experience, Wayne, because not until I read your book, I think mine looked a lot more like a resume. I changed my profile, and now I've got a lot more activity happening. I can attest, the first attempt I used LinkedIn, we were looking for a bookkeeper for our business. And I put it out there, and it's amazing. Somebody I see all the time, he referred somebody, and it's been perfect. And she's been working with us now for a couple of years. We had ads in the paper. I was getting to the point where I was getting really frustrated. Nothing was happening. I wasn't getting any quality prospects. And here I just went on LinkedIn, immediately got a perfect prospect.
And think about it, Jim. All you really did was leverage the network that you had.
Yep.
Right? LinkedIn just was the tool to do that easily, more efficient than in the old days when you would have sat down and go, which of my friends should I either write an email to or call because they might know somebody. Instead, you just posted on LinkedIn and it went to everybody.
It was incredible. Hey, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about how you can use LinkedIn to not only improve your business, but as an employee, if you're looking for a new job, you're between jobs, maybe you're a college graduate trying to get your feet in the door somewhere. There are so many tools with LinkedIn, and we have Wayne Breitbarth, who's authored now a couple of books on LinkedIn and sharing some of his secrets on how you can have LinkedIn success. So stay tuned. Whether you're a business owner looking for more customers or new employees, or you're in sales looking for more prospects, maybe you're a recent college graduate or just someone looking for a new career opportunity, LinkedIn can help. If you're interested in learning more on all the tools and strategies available on LinkedIn, who better to learn from than the nation's leading educator on LinkedIn, Wayne Breitbarth. Wayne has put together a new 6-module multimedia program where you'll discover the secrets to LinkedIn. You'll come away with action steps that produce immediate results. This comprehensive online program includes 20 added bonuses, including tip sheets, worksheets, and checklists that will guide you through his proven 5-step process for LinkedIn success. Wayne normally charges $297 for this special program. Real Wealth has arranged a special discount of $75, so your price is only $222. Just use the coupon code REALWEALTH. It's available on this website. Just click the Resources for You button and register now. Welcome back as we continue to visit with Wayne Breitbarth, who is a #1 bestseller when it comes to LinkedIn with his LinkedIn Power Strategies books. Wayne, why don't you tell us a little bit about the books that you've written and where people can get them?
You bet. Thanks, Jim. The book that I've written is called The Power Formula for LinkedIn Success. It's now in its 2nd edition. Like you mentioned, it's a bestseller. It's the #1 selling LinkedIn book of all time. And it's designed to be a workbook for those people that are either investigating LinkedIn or are sort of beginning on LinkedIn and want to get that foundational structure right. And it's a simple read. It takes you about 2 hours to read it through if you want to go cover to cover. And then after that, there's lots of screenshots and examples of how to do your profile the correct way. And the easiest way to get the book is to go to Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble, and the book's there. It'll show up really high in the search ranking if you just simply type in the word LinkedIn. And I can tell you it would be money and time well spent. Thousands of people have already read the book and gotten great results. From a personal standpoint, what I love about the way the book is, it's in very distinct chapters. And I didn't even start with the first chapter. I forget what chapter I jumped to because I had a specific idea in mind, and I went to the chapter that was specific to that end, and I built some tools on my page based on that, and then I went back and did some of the other chapters. But it is written so well that no matter what your goal is or what strategy you want to implement, because not all strategies are right for all people at all times, you really can go right to the chapter that's going to be most helpful to what you want to accomplish. And I think it's kind of unique the way that's written. Well, I appreciate that. And the chapter that seems to get the most buzz from people is where I actually sit down and lay out a 6-week, 2-hour per week roadmap to results where I tell you exactly what to do week by week. That's awesome. Now, one thing I got to say, because when I talk to others about LinkedIn, and I've shared your book with a lot of people, the thing that I always get the pushback, well, I'm not on Facebook or any of that stuff. What do you say to those people that might have the misconception that this is just another form of Facebook? That is one of the bad things about LinkedIn, is that it came out about that same time as Facebook and Twitter, and so it's always thrown in as the big 3 of social media: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. What I try to explain to people is, yes, it has some social media components to it, and that may make it good or bad in your mind, But if you just step back and think of it more as a database, one that we've never had before for finding the right people, I think you'll look at it totally different than as a social media site. So that's what I would ask people to do, is just step back and not think of it as social media, because social media brings certain connotations even for a guy like me. I don't want to do any of this stuff.
Now, if you're looking for marketing strategies and things like that, is there a reason to use Twitter or Facebook or some of these other social media sites, or is LinkedIn the panacea that can take care of all business to business or all employer to employee type things that you want to accomplish?
Well, you know, all of the sites, whether it's Pinterest or Google Plus or Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn, they all have sort of a different kind of personality and feel to them, and more importantly, different people use them. So LinkedIn is clearly the leader in the B2B space. If you're calling on or working for organizations that serve other businesses, LinkedIn clearly is the winner. If you were the ice cream shop on the corner or the dry cleaner on the corner and you dealt with B2C business and you tell me, Wayne, I only got time for one social media site, what should it be? I'd say, you know what, you better be on Facebook, because Facebook would be great for that. If you told me you were a painter or a designer, I would probably say, you know what, Pinterest would be wonderful for you. Or you make crafts, Pinterest will be great for you. So they're all a little bit different. But when it comes to B2B and or employment, LinkedIn's going to be the strongest for sure.
Wayne, can you touch upon, for those that might be between jobs, or maybe we have a recent college graduate that doesn't know where to start, what tools are available that could give them the most impact on LinkedIn? How would you advise that?
Yeah, so here I have some great suggestions for that. Number one, I would suggest in both those categories, either a college person who's getting close to graduating or looking for an internship, or a job seeker, no matter what age. If you go to YouTube and you go in the search box and you put my name and then go through the videos that are there, you will find, for college students, there'll be a video there from when I was at UW-Whitewater and did a full 90-minute session. That'll be perfect for you. And then if you go through and look for some sessions that I did at Elmbrook Church in Milwaukee, sort of still underway in Breitbart, you'll see 2 hours worth of me teaching job seeker tips on LinkedIn, 3 videos in both cases. So there's a lot of things you need to do, but those 2 videos will give you the strategy. If you just sit down, get your computer out, and pause it, and do certain things that I'm telling you, and you can even grab the handouts. It tells you how to get the handouts. So that's the best thing to do.
Wayne, it's been great having you on board again. I know the world keeps changing, and I know you keep doing your updates. How do people get your regular updates? I know you post a lot of it right on LinkedIn. So if people want to keep in the loop with the latest and greatest, how do they do that?
Yes, so 2 things I would suggest. They send me an invite on LinkedIn and just explain in the invitation that we met on the show. I'd love that. And secondly, when you're on my website, which is powerformula.net, you'll see a box right in the top left that shows you how to start receiving my free weekly email of LinkedIn tips and strategies.
All right, that's great, Wayne. I'm looking forward to us meeting again and much more success with your LinkedIn Power Strategies.
Thanks, Jim. It's been great being back on. I love being with your audience and look forward to the future as well.
Thanks for joining us this week, and tune in again next week as we explore another phase of the Real Wealth process. And remember, if anything you heard in today's show you'd like to get more information about, contact your Real Wealth advisor. Also, if you feel that any of this information will be helpful to a friend or family member, just click the Forward to a Friend button.